Test. Is the music working? Alrighty, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. Lieutenant Abreu here, Medical Service Corps, Healthcare Administrator. Welcome to our Medical Service Corps in-service procurement program series, to where we invite Mustangs and non-Mustangs as well into this live Q&A session here in Facebook Live. Tonight is going to be another fun topic. Last week we talked about a specific training program for HCAs, the Army Baylor, and the USIS. And we've been getting a lot of questions about becoming a physician assistant through the MSC IPP. So I'm super excited to bring to you two individuals who are here shortly. They're going to introduce themselves. But before we go to these two individuals, feel free to comment in the comments box below. We're going to see your questions live once we get to the Q&A portion. You can also click a link there if you want to see your photo when you're commenting on there. It's like the eCam Live link. Feel free to click on that as well. And yeah, if you have sailors that are interested in the program, this video will also be recorded at the very end. It's going to be archived within the Facebook group. We also upload it into our YouTube and post the link here in a little bit as well. And also, as a caveat, this is not sponsored by the Department of Defense, the United States Navy, and the Medical Service Corps. This is just us trying to give the information back to everybody that is wanting to commission, just like the pathway that we took. So without further ado, let me bring in my guests. Let me switch my view here in a little bit. All right. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, lovely human beings. Oh, it's switched. They were telling me it's switched. My bad. Boom. Hey, technology, right? Technology. All right. Do you want to start? Lieutenant Ham, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure, not a problem. Hey, Lieutenant, thanks for putting this together. Hi, guys. My name is Lieutenant Joe Ham. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. Hey, Lieutenant Joe Ham. I'm one of the IPAP instructors here. I'm also the Assistant Senior Naval Representative that's here at the school. Just was invited to come in and talk to you guys about some of the things as far as IPAP is concerned, and answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. Thank you, LT. Lieutenant Dorsey.
Hey everyone, I'm Lieutenant Dorsey. I'm a PA currently stationed on the John C. Stennis. I commissioned in 2016 through the IPP program, and I will leave the stennis and go to the orthopedic fellowship next.
Ooh, very nice. See, so you guys are in for a treat. We have a PA in the carrier. We have an instructor. You guys are
Yeah, and I'm
getting.
also fellowship trained too.
There you
Emergency
go.
medicine. Yeah, good
So
stuff.
I know I'm not an SME on this one, so I'm pretty sure you're going to be answering a lot of my questions as well for individuals that are interested in this program. But let's start off with with you, Lieutenant Ham, and kind of talk to us about your journey, how you commissioned through this, how many times it took you, and what you think
Sure.
it took you to get selected.
Well, I think it came from. Let's start from the beginning. When I was a young HN in San Diego back in 1994, back in 1994, all corpsmen that were out in San Diego either wanted to be one of two things. They either wanted to be a Navy SEAL or they wanted to be a physician assistant. And I'll be honest with you, I really don't like heights or cold water. So here I am now practicing medicine. Not that I didn't have the mental fortitude, I just really didn't like heights and cold water. So here's a corpsman. It's very interesting. I had a pretty fast run up to first class, and then kind of had this 10-year mark. Like, what am I going to do? And I knew I needed to do something with medicine, so I decided to go to IDC school. Went to IDC school for a while, did some stuff with Naval Special Warfare, and I went out to San Clemente Island. Got a lot of my schoolwork done while I was on the island because it was the greatest place ever to go for schoolwork. And it placed my and was thinking about putting my package together. Put the package together within about a week. What is all as long as it took me because I was to go back and forth to get all my paperwork. Put that package in and got selected. I put it in when I was in 16 years in, got accepted at 17 years, and started school at 17 years in and graduated with 19 years in. So 1 year away from retiring and probably driving a UPS truck because I wasn't going to be able to do anything with my IDC background. It wasn't going to relate to anything out in the civilian world. So fortunately for me, I had a very, I would say, robust career leading up to um, the admission of our package for PA school. So just strong, evals, great diversity within assignments. Really, it has the GPA, and I'm now talking about as far as like IPAP is concerned. Your GPA needed to be right where it needed to be. Your SAT needed to be right where it needed to be. Your officer interviews and things like that. So I just had straight across the board, not just the minimums, but above minimums. And we can talk more about that in a little bit. But getting selected and going to school, I was there for the 24-month program. Now it's 29. So I was the last hard class, really interesting, and just had been having a lot of fun in the Navy for 27 plus years. But I tell you what, going from enlisted to commissioning was a complete turnaround. It's not anything like you think that it's going to be. You think you're just going to roll into work anytime you want or leave when you're in it for a rude awakening. Because I thought, oh, I can't wait to get commissioned. I'm gonna make a lot of money and people are gonna salute me and I'm gonna come into work at 10 a.m. and leave at
Says
2 and
who?
take 3.
That person
I
lied.
right. Well, for my perception was that's what officers did. They just did whatever they wanted. Man, that wasn't it. So finished up, went to the Marines right afterwards, did a battalion surgeon gig right afterwards. And I fell in love with emergency medicine right when I was in my rotations. As soon as I absolutely could, I put a package in for EMP fellowship, got selected, finished that up really quick, and then went to Okinawa for 7 months, EFMP back really quick, and then was back to the hospital at Naval Medical Center, where I was a staff member for about a year. Then the second year I got, promoted to faculty staff and helped out a lot with the fellowship. And with that background, that actually helped me out as far as like being an attending or preceptor for other PAs and other specialties for me to come here to be an instructor. So my thought process was the Navy did me such a solid, I want to carbon copy and give back to the profession as far as being an instructor here. So that's where I'm at. And it's honestly, I won't lie to you, it's the best job I've had in 27 years. Like I look forward to get up in the morning and go to work. It's a lot of fun.
Very nice.
Right.
As a prior instructor, I definitely agree with you. I was instructor at HMA school, so I definitely know your feeling, brother. Thanks so much. I know I'm pretty sure a lot of people are logging in right now because I think they know that you're coming in here. So an instructor perspective is definitely going to help out. But thank you for that. Lieutenant Dorsey, tell us about your journey. How did you start? What made you,
Okay.
what do you think got you selected as well in the process and your experiences as well?
Okay, I came in '99 as a Quad Zero corpsman, and then I went to, after my first duty station, I went to the surgical tech program and went with a surgical team on USS Essex, which was at that time forward deployed in Japan. It's in San Diego now, but and just loved being on the ship. Loved the fact that I got to do anything and everything there on the ship. So that's what pushed me to go to IDC school. Went to IDC school in 2005, graduated in 2006, and went straight to a destroyer, the USS Nitsa, and loved it. It was great. Loved the whole independent gig. Was selected for chief, and once I got selected for chief, then any thoughts of PA school kind of got put on the back burner. I drank the chief Kool-Aid there for a little while. But then when I got to my follow-on command, it was a small command, Dahlgren Clinic in Virginia, middle of nowhere, Virginia. And I was a senior enlisted leader there. And I realized very quickly that I did not like that part of being a chief. And I actually liked the medicine part much, much more. So I got together, our OIC at the time was the HCA, who was prior enlisted, and got together with him. He connected me with the right people to help me put my package together. I think something that people overlook is who you pick to do your officer interviews and who you pick to do your LORs. Those matter. You don't just pick, the lieutenant that you work with. It's a small community for HCAs and for PAs, so you really want someone who's known in the community. Their endorsement kind of carries a lot of weight. So having that mentorship to kind of connect me with those people, I think really made a difference. And then, like Lieutenant Ham said, the scores, your college classes, you really have to, especially your sciences, you have to make sure that part of your package looks good. And so I selected, went through school, graduated in 2016, did 3 years at Naval Health Clinic, Hawaii. And, I'm on my second year on the Stennis. So, yeah, it's like Lieutenant Ham said, I'm super thankful for all the opportunities the Navy has given me and continues to give me. So.
Very nice. Like this is just amazing. Like your guys' experiences and your journey. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are finding valuable, and we have 20 people online that are like paying attention. This is the highest I think we've had so far. But looking forward to this discussion with you guys. So let's go ahead and start and dive in a little bit more into the program itself, into the PA program. And I'll start with you, Lieutenant Dorsey, because I know Lieutenant Ham is in teaching the program itself. Lieutenant Dorsey, when you were going through school, when you got accepted, from what you remember, how was the experience back then? Was it just like student life, college, study, drink, have fun on weekends? How was it?
No, no, it is not like college life. It is definitely the hardest thing after PA school. I ended up going and getting a doctorate degree. And the PA program was 10 times harder than my doctorate. It is every minute pretty much of your time is spent either at school or preparing for class or studying. You have to really consciously give time to your family and time to work out and stuff like that. But no, there's no, I think I didn't leave my house for 3 months in second semester of PA school, other than to go to school and back. I mean, there was just no time to really do anything. So, but you make lifelong bonds with the people you're in school with. I mean, me and the people that were in my class, the Navy people, we talk all the time, daily to some of the guys. I mean, you're just super close to them. You go through this program, you lean on each other for support. So I think that's a lot different than college, because again, with my doctorate, I've never talked to any of those people again. That was in my program, but yeah, it is not cruise control. It's not an A school. It's not a C school. It is definitely not IDC school. IDC school did nothing at all to prepare me for PA school, except for maybe some terminology. And I felt comfortable talking to patients, but the level of knowledge and even, it's just, IDC school helps you because you understand the process of seeing patients, and you know how to talk to patients and touch patients appropriately. But the medicine side of it, you really have no idea what you don't know until you learn something.
LT, I think the IDC detailer was just like, no, I was using that as my recruiting tool to get IDC packages, and you just dropped a major bomb.
Well,
I mean, prep you, but Lieutenant Ham,
well, their SRB just went way up, so I don't think we're going to be beating the door down and getting a PA school right now at $90,000, being shaken over your face. So anyway, I'm sorry, you were saying?
From your perspective, so Lieutenant Dorsey just kind of like talked about her experience as a student, but you as an instructor, you went through as being a student, obviously, and now as an instructor. I would love to hear your perspective on both aspects, honestly.
Well, I tell you what, so being a student, you just figure, whatever is going on behind the scenes are just easy. They just write a test and they just drink coffee all day. That is absolutely incorrect. Like I will wake up at 5:30 in the morning and take my kids to school, and I'm now on. It seems like an hour ago, I was running the test committee, and now in the chair of the test committee. I was on ecoms meeting today. I was doing faculty development. It was just there's always an evolving movement within the faculty to better the program for the students. We are very student oriented. I do want to circle back a little bit. Sorry for the Jen Psaki reference, but I want to circle back a little bit what Lieutenant Dorsey was saying. As a student here, what she meant was you don't have a lot of time. You truly don't. And I'll be honest with you, my wife will tell me that we went to a strawberry festival and show me pictures, and I don't remember being there. Like, I would freak out in Target and go, you got to get me back home, get me back closer to my books, because we tested Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We didn't have 29 months to do this. We had 24, and 12 of it was schoolwork. So it was every time I turn around, I was getting hit with an exam. So you have to, like she said, be very conscious on how you do your time. I do want to go, well, you didn't ask me that question, but as far as being an instructor now, I get to watch, and it's so amazing. I absolutely love the mentorship that I give the folks before they get here. And then when they arrive, I watch them almost go through a period where they come in, they're smiling, they're getting their books, and they don't know anything. And then biochem slides go up, and the eyes completely blow up. And I'm getting phone calls, texts like, "Hey, Lieutenant, what is this? You didn't tell me about this," and yada yada yada. So, like, I will again echo what Lieutenant Dorsey said. This is a master's program, and a lot of folks come here with the idea that, oh, it's another C school, it's another NEC I'm about to get. It's not even close. Like, the very first week you come here, you're exhausted. Like, mentally, you're beat. And what we do in this PA program is we take folks that are active duty, have full-time jobs, deployments, families, PRTs, meetings, chiefs meet, all this stuff, and then we ask them to take courses slowly, put your stuff together, and then come here. And then what happens is you come to a master's program at a very high, rigorous training cycle, and a lot of people are not ready to jump on a treadmill, an educational treadmill that you have no control over. It literally, as soon as you step on it, it goes, and no matter if you fail, no matter if your kids are sick, no matter, it keeps moving. Matter of fact, for instance, we just had a big snowstorm here in San Antonio. Shut San Antonio down for about 4 days. Well, unfortunately, the treadmill paused and everyone stayed on it, but we turned it right back on. Took away, well, didn't really take away a lot of directed study, but had to move around some things and cut some of the courses that we couldn't do. So we started compressing things, and we moved a couple things to a Saturday, and it's just what we had to do. And IPAP is a beast. It is nothing like you'll ever do in the military ever again. I'm sure Lieutenant Dorsey will tell you, this is the most odd entity that you'll ever experience in the military, because you're a student for over 2 years. You wear a uniform, but you're paid as a chief, but you're not a chief anymore. You're an OC. Then you're going to go see patients, and then, oh, hey, phone buster. Oh, I'm sorry. Now you got to go do your analysis. Hey, test is today. It's just always moving around. So you need to be extremely, extremely, extremely flexible with your time schedule and how much you're going to tolerate what's going to go on here, because if not, it will drive you absolutely crazy. And I'm sure Lieutenant Dorsey will nod in agreement. This happens to the faculty, it happens to the students, it happens quite a bit. I know I went a little long on that. I've got so much more to talk about before you even get here. To all the selectees, if you're coming this summer, I've got so many things I need you to hem up before you come out. But I'll wait until you to ask that later on, Lieutenant, so I don't overtake your meeting.
You're a wealth of knowledge, and I think a lot of the selectees are actually on this session as well. But before we go to our next question, if you are watching right now, for the 28 individuals that are watching, if you have questions, feel free to start posting them in the comments so that we could roll in right into it and ask these two individuals the questions that you may have. Lieutenant Dorsey, this question goes to you first. So I'm a prospective PA applicant. I want to become a PA. What is typically, one of the things that I hear, at least as an HCA, is like, hey, can I shadow you? Can I intern with you and everything? What's your perspective on that one as a PA, like, especially if they're non-HMs? I know there's a lot of non-HMs that are getting selected for this program as well. The internship piece in order to help them with their package.
I think shadowing is absolutely, even if you are a corpsman, if you haven't worked in a clinic or worked side by side as a provider, then you absolutely need to shadow. And even for IDCs to shadow what they do, especially in the clinic, because your role in DHA and in Navy medicine as a provider, especially as a JG, as a lieutenant, is much, much different than as an IDC. Your job is to see patients 100% of the time, and any extra time, you kind of have to figure that out. It's important that if you're not in the healthcare field, you understand what a PA's job is and what they do and what they don't do. And make sure that's the type of medicine you want to practice. Nursing and the practice of medicine as a PA is very different. So when a corpsman tells me they want to be a nurse or a PA, that always makes me go, well, which one? Because they're two completely different things that you do. If you are looking to become a commissioned officer and that is your goal, you want to be an officer, this is not the school for you. This is not the route for you, because you should do this because you want to be a PA, and the bonus is you get to be a commissioned officer. Because if you're just looking for a commissioning program and you think this is the easy one to do, you will not enjoy your life, because you are, even though everyone will say you're a Navy officer first and a PA second, the reality is in your day-to-day life, you are a PA first. That's what you're going to do. And the paycheck, if you don't love the job as a PA, the paycheck of an officer is not going to be worth it.
Wow, those are very good words. I like that you said, I kind of got a little bit of goosebumps when you said, if you are wanting to just be a commissioned officer and PA is not the route for you. But thanks for that, LT. Lieutenant Ham, thoughts on somebody that wants to intern or to kind of shadow to help with their application? What are your thoughts on that?
Sure. So for some folks, it's very difficult for them to find a PA. So it's not like we walk around with big old shirts like, hey, I'm a PA, you want to shadow me? So I think coming to this format here, and I think there's also a lot of times where they'll ask in the Navy IPAP or Navy PA Facebook pages, soliciting like, hey, I'm in Virginia Beach, is there any PA that I can shadow or come and talk to about the field? And most PAs, to be honest with you, if they have the time, they will sit down with you. So you have to seek them out, and then you have to kind of put some effort in too. Again, not asking like, hey, I want to be a PA. Tell me about being a PA. Like, well, are you in college right now? No? Okay, well, I need you to go look up these frequently asked questions and get your questions looked at here and start do some self-assessment, figure out where you need to be. And then once you start getting your courses going and things like that, shadowing is absolutely, because here's why. Like you, Lieutenant Dorsey, I was also a surgical technician. I did it. Why did I do it? On the ship, and I was coming up on my enlistment, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, am I going to go back to Mississippi and work at the shipyard, or am I going to do something? My HM1 was like, hey, I was a surgical technologist. I go, what do? You just hand instruments to doctors. I'm like, oh, that sounds okay. You liked it. I must like it. And I went and I absolutely hated it. I did not, it was not for my personality type. I was not the one to help somebody with tools. I wanted to be the one that always did it. And that's just where it's always been. So that was a mismatch. So if you follow a PA or even a nurse practitioner or even a doctor, I mean, it's good that you follow a PA because we speak a different language, but even just to see, do I really want to talk to people about some of their health problems? Do I have the drive? And trust me, it's a calling. If you think just to come here being a PA is like really cool and stuff like that, the hours are long, the expectations are extremely high. Every patient is a potential possible lawsuit. If you think about it, if you practice negligently, it's not a very easy job, but it is extremely rewarding. I cannot tell you like how blessed I am to be a PA, and then on top of that, like playing checkers. Now, King as teaching other PAs to go out and do this profession, it's absolutely amazing. So please make sure you want to do the job, and when you get here, it's extremely, you cannot let a negative thought in your head. If you go, you know what, maybe I'm just not really cut out for this, like you did in kind of boot camp, like start to move on your way. As soon as you plant that negative seed in your head, it is going to, I failed another test, and it just piles and piles and piles. And if you don't change your study habits or your study group or whatever have you, you don't move along, you don't grow as an adult learner, you're going to have a lot of trouble. You're going to have a lot of trouble here.
Very nice.
So
Thank you.
shadow as much as you can. Make sure you want to do this job, because it's not something, it's not like an NEC, like, oh, I'm going to archive it. You don't archive your license. You know what I mean? You just don't do that. So.
Yeah, thank you for that. So the reason why I asked that, because it's a common misconception. I'm glad you both brought it up, that just because you're an IDC that you don't need to shadow a PA or anything. And I'm glad that you also brought up that it's two different worlds and everything. So shadowing, internship, regardless, honestly, of any specialty, I think it's very important for you to try your best to intern and seek those mentors. And part of that is preparation, like Lieutenant Ham said. We're going to keep preaching this every single episode. Look at the frequently asked questions. Be prepared to, because the first thing that these people are going to ask, like myself, Lieutenant Hamilton, Dorsey, did you look at the MSC IPP website? Did you look at the Navy IPAP website? Those are certain things that you'll look at. Lieutenant Ham, you were going to say something?
Yeah, so I want to just say something about when Lieutenant Dorsey and I say something about IDCs or mention IDC, I want you to understand, in no way is this derogatory at all. This is no way looking down our nose at all. IDCs are trained to a certain level of education, have a certain need, and they go out and perform certain tasks. We take you from your comfort with seeing a patient and doing an exam, like an ear, nose, and throat exam, looking at the back of the throat, maybe explain, what erythema in the back of the, or tonsils or something. And then we take that and we blossom you into this gargantuan oak tree of like knowledge. So when she says something at IDC, or I said I wasn't going to be able to do anything with my IDC when I got out, I truly meant it. And I'm sure she'll tell you, every IDC that came through her class that was with her was like, holy smokes, I didn't know what I didn't know, or maybe something even probably not appropriate for our live stream, but I'm sure that came out because all my IDC brethren and sisters said the same thing. We're like, holy smokes, like, but it was at the certain level and for the certain job. So, and I had a blast as an IDC. I love my job as IDC. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to come here, and I'm always welcome to help other people come over here if that's where you want to go. So I just had to say that because I love my 25 heritage, absolutely adored it. I like it's one of those degree plaques or degree things that are on your wall. Yeah. I still have my IDC thing up because I wanted to make sure I knew where I came from.
Very nice. Thank you for saying that, LT. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just to kind of echo that, the only reason I mention it is because I might have gone into that first semester of PA school maybe just a little cocky because I was a prior IDC, and I had that confidence. I had been on a ship. I had done an independent tour. I worked in a clinic. Everyone, the doctors and the PAs I had worked with, just built me up so much. And it was really like, and I got exactly what Lieutenant Ham said, where I kind of thought like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this isn't, and I don't know the confidence from IDC, being an IDC and IDC school and going in thinking that I already knew what else were they going to teach me. Maybe that's why I like to mention it, just so someone doesn't have that same kind of knock you on your ass kind of thing moment like I had in the first semester, especially biochemistry.
I mentioned again that is
yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for those words. Another question that comes up a lot, and I actually got a couple in a direct message. In terms of grades, is that the only factor? ACT, SATs, transcripts. Is B gonna cut it? Do I have to go above and beyond with my grades? Ham, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on the grades aspect of the application?
Right. So I will be honest with you. So we pull all the transcript data, we pull all of your grades, we pull all of your SAT scores at the IPAP. Myself and Lieutenant Commander Beam go over that, make an Excel spreadsheet, and there's 3 zones. Green zone, meaning every single prerequisite is met. You are what the UNMC and the IPAP prerequisites are met. Yellow means you probably have 1, or your SAT is pending. So we have a yellow zone. So we have anywhere from 11 to 15 people in that. And then we have the red zone where your science GPA is not up to snuff. And I can tell you right now, that's pretty much a deal breaker. I won't lie to you. If it's at 3.0, that's a yawn. If it's a 3.2, 3.3, 3.5, getting up there, this is a heavy science laden course. If you have a 4.0 in English and a 3.0 in math and a 3.0 in science, buddy, those are rookie numbers. You're gonna have to bump those up. I won't lie to you. Those come into big consideration when it comes to the board. Second, your SAT scores should not be the minimum. It's great if you're lucky enough to get in on a minimum SAT score, but if it's not, there are a lot of resources out there like collegeboard.com that you can go take practice SATs. I personally spent $2,000 to go and learn college math all over again to bump my scores up to make sure I got in. Now I figured it was an investment in myself, which I made up in the first month I was commissioned. So that was good to go. And then the other things that need to be extremely strong is GPA, SAT scores, and I can tell you right now, and this goes across all MSC, all commissioning packages. If you're not selected the very first time, and you submitted a package this year, and then you submit the same exact package next year, you show no growth. Take another course, show something else, get different, officer interviews, make sure your fit reps at least grow. If not, take a couple more courses, go above and beyond. If you can go above and beyond, then you'll absolutely do very well. And just to let you know, because there's always this scuttlebutt, how many people apply every year and how many people get selected. So I'll come straight to the horse's mouth. It's about 60 or 70 of you folks will actually submit most of your, submit all your stuff. UNMC all gets it. You do the ECAS and it all goes through. And then only about 20 to 25 fit in that green zone. And then and it doesn't mean that anyone in the yellow zone, because we get it before the board meets. So we get some incomplete data. We've actually had folks from the yellow zone get selected ahead of folks in the green zone, but it's highly unlikely. We don't take the majority out of the yellow and skip over the green, just to let you know. So high science GPA has to be on point. Math scores have to be on point. What that tells us and the board that you're able to move through complex issues, complex physiology and things like that. You're not just memorizing, you're just not looking for word association, because we don't do that here at all. As far as a package goes, what really helps out on the board too This is coming from Karina Donald, that was a commander out on the West Coast, incredible PA. She would tell you that on your personal statement, when the board reads it, it should say, it should either make them want to cry or make them pick up the phone and call you and tell you that you got selected, like on the spot. Like, it needs to be strong. Like, why do you really, and then what are you going to give back to the community?
Mhm.
Because that you're trying to get on one side of the table to the next. You have a bunch of officers over here, you have a bunch of MSC officers over here, and you're on the other side of the table. What are you telling me that you're going to offer this community so I can drag you or pull you across and sit over on this side? It's just
Mhm.
like any other board, Chiefs board, any of these other boards.
Mhm.
Like, what are you going to do with that?
Mhm.
And in commanding officer recommendation, please make sure that your commanding officer's recommendation, you are the go-to guy, point guy, who I call when something needs to be done, those sort of things. Make sure it's not some, mayonnaise sandwich, commanding officer recommendation, because they look at that like, man, this guy's commanding officer really doesn't think very much of this person at all. So why should we think much about him as well?
Yeah.
And anything other than that, and just pay attention to detail. Make sure that you do exactly what the thing tells you. They look for that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Lieutenant Dorsey, I hope I didn't take everything. I'm sure there's some other
Well,
things you have there,
you
but
bring.
over here we look, but unfortunately we don't at this moment. Lieutenant Commander Beam, myself, or Dr. Patton, which is the medical director right now, the Navy medical director, we don't get to fly up and do the boards. We are seriously begging the detailer. We're seriously wanting to get the detailer as well as a special leader. Please let us from the school go and pick the best, because we unfortunately, however you want to look at it, we have a high attrition rate. We recycle. When I went through, we did not recycle. If I would have gone to a PRB, I'm out. It's done. There was no recycling at all for Navy students.
Mm.
So it's just, you got to just come here prepared. I mean, just big time.
Okay.
So,
Well, thanks, LT. Those are very
yeah.
good information. And something that Lieutenant Ham said, I kind of want to ask that to you, Lieutenant Dorsey. He mentioned something very strong is the um, statement, right? Something that make the board cry and everything. And I'm always interested to hear what my panel has to what they had to say in their motivation statement. Do you mind sharing what made you become a physician assistant and a naval commissioned officer, Lieutenant
So
Dorsey?
in my statement, I talked about really kind of where I was at a crossroads between in my career, where if I stayed a chief, I you know I felt like I would move on to senior chief, master chief, and then maybe become a command master chief. Um, but my heart and my calling really was in practicing medicine, and I had to realize that even as an IDC, I could practice medicine. As I moved up and progressed, you become farther and farther away from the patients. And then, I talked about some patients that I saw that really just kind of made a big impact into why I wanted to see medicine, and how why I wanted to do medicine, and why I wanted to see myself down that path. And I talked about my mom's health issues too, and how I'd like to be able to um, kind of help people in that kind of way. So I would say, not just the goal of making them cry, but really letting them see kind of the real you, and then making it's a personal statement. It should be something personal about your life, and why this is what you want. So.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And this goes back to one of our episodes about personal statements, finding your why and starting with your why. Two amazing books by Simon Sinek, and I really adore that author. And I give it to a lot of my mentees as well, because like you said, you need to know your why in order for you to communicate yourself to the board, right? The board will easily, and talking to senior MSC mentors of mine, and I'm pretty sure Lieutenant Ham can speak on this too, is they can immediately tell if it's a cookie cutter. If it's a cookie cutter statement, if it's a cookie cutter, you said mayonnaise sandwich. See a recommendation. I like that term. They can easily tell that, right? Go back to our episode on letters of recommendation with Commander Mo Taylor. He gave you like 3 tiers of what is being written out. You have like the and then you have the standard, and then you have the yes, this is the one and only. I want him in my wardroom kind of deal. So thank you for that, Lieutenant Dorsey. Um, We have a couple of questions that are coming in on the feed, so I'll just bring in one of them right now. And I think this is directly for you, LT. It says, Sir HM2 Snyder, my question is for Lieutenant Ham. With the opening of NMCCL as a second phase 2 site, do you foresee an increase in the number of seats per year for Navy at IPAP?
Thank you for the question, HM2 Snyder. At the moment, we are normally slotted for 20 seats, but we normally pick about 17. Why? I don't have the answer for that. The reason why the second site for NMCCL was created is because the memorandum of understanding for San Diego means we can only have 20 students at any given time in San Diego. Well, what happened is that created a single point of failure. And when COVID hit and there was a training pause of 4 to 5 months where no one was going in and seeing patients at all, they couldn't get the patient load and patient experiences enough to complete their prerequisites to graduate PA school. They were on a hold. Well, we weren't on a hold. We were still making PAs at a very astronomical rate, which led to a either we were going to send them to San Diego and sit for another 4 or 5 months, or we were just going to have this stumble over and over again. So we made a second site, or Lieutenant Commander Beam wonderfully set up a second site on the East Coast. One, for a couple of the reasons besides the fact of just getting a single point of failure piece out of the way. However, in the future, it's going to save the Navy a lot of money by not shipping everyone from California now over to the East Coast, where they can actually start to assign folks that are most likely going to be on the East Coast to NMCCL or out to San Diego. So unfortunately, I know that's a very gray answer, but right now we just don't normally take more than 17, and I wish I had a better answer for you on that. And we've only have 20 seats total, and you guys meet up once a year only, and that's in August. So hopefully that answers it.
Thank you, LT. I appreciate that. Another question on here, and it says here, for prior non-select, is there a way to get feedback on your package or from the board?
So not from the board. I don't have any insight on what the board said or what they didn't say, but however, I don't normally release that information back to the students. Like, hey, I know that you applied this year, but you were in the yellow zone or you're in the green zone. We don't typically run that information because you got to think there's 50 of them. So 17 got selected. So now if we do the math, there's about 33 people knocking on your door like, hey, why don't I get selected? Well, everyone has a different reason for not being selected. I would love to probably put out most common reasons why you're in the yellow zone. And again, I could put that out right now. Either you're missing a grade or your SAT scores are pending or you're missing two classes. If you're in the red, it's because you have not met all the criteria. So you can almost kind of tell where you're at. So if you have a low science GPA, just know that you're probably in the red. If you have a GPA anywhere below 3.0 in anything, you're probably in the red. If you have an SAT score that doesn't meet up, then you're in the red. Or you have courses that have expired that you know that's more than either 5 or 10 years, either science or non-science, then you could pretty much know that you're in the red. If you have all of your stuff wired tight and there was no, UNMC said you're good to go, everything was great, you had all your officer appraisals, and your fit reps were on fleek, and everything was flying high, then what probably happened was a non-select prior tightened up his package, his or her package, added another class, and just got through. And that's pretty much where they're at. So without giving you feedback, I can almost kind of give you an idea where you may be at. And if you did not get selected, please, 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 please reapply. If this is what, and it tells the board a couple of things too. If you reapply immediately and you increase your package, you increase your scores, you increase your SAT, it tells the package that, hey, this is the person that really, truly wants to be here. So hopefully that answers that question.
Very
and if Lieutenant Dorsey has anything whatsoever, you can always chime in, Lieutenant Dorsey. Please don't let me talk over you. I will. I'm a chatty individual.
I would just add that although the board usually cannot, even though they will publish who was on the board, they usually cannot give any feedback to individuals about their package.
Yep.
But just have another MSC officer or another PA look at your package and see if they can identify maybe some places that you could improve on. And that's going to be how you get the feedback. The board members usually can't give you direct feedback. They could maybe give you some general, this is what we saw in people who were selected. But I think it's against the board precept for them to actually give you individualized feedback.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm glad you said that, LT. On board, talking to a couple of the panel that we've had before, that's part of the thing that I asked them. Is there anything that you can disclose about the board process? They're very limited of what they can say. They have this honor, that oath that they sign and they take in front of the president of the board. So it's very restrictive. So thank you for saying that, Lieutenant Dorsey. One more question, and then we'll kind of go to the wrap up comments from both of you. One question here. The last one is, good evening. Outside of the prerequisite courses, are there any additional courses you recommend applicants to complete to better prepare for the program? That's a good question. Lieutenant Ham?
I was going to let Lieutenant Dorsey kind of answer that, and I could wrap it up afterwards, to be honest with you, because I feel like I'm just doing all this talking here. I don't want to do that.
As an IDC, it does allow you to use some of the IDC courses to in lieu of actual college courses, and that ended up being a disadvantage, especially with the A&P, because the level of anatomy and physiology in IDC school was not as deep as it needed to be. When you do the master's level anatomy and physiology, it skips right over the maybe bachelor's level and dives straight in. So I think if you're an IDC, you really should think about taking a true college level anatomy and physiology class and really focusing on the physiology. If you've already done that, then those core science classes, organic chemistry, in the beginning of biochemistry, you do like half an hour, maybe. It probably was a little bit longer than that, but definitely no more than a day of organic chemistry. And then you are in biochemistry, and organic chemistry is a huge part of biochemistry. So without any kind of understanding of that, depending on what your chemistry 2 look like, you're already going to be behind. You're going to have to learn organic chemistry while you're trying to learn biochemistry at the same time. So I would definitely consider an organic chemistry class.
Awesome.
And a biochemistry class too, definitely.
And if you're doing that to increase your chances of being selected for your package, again, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. We don't want you to take 15 classes, while you're trying to be active duty. Wait until you come here to do that. If you're seriously trying to, this is like what you absolutely are going to do, then you need to focus and make every single grade count. Do not waste your time. I'm going to say this to you. If you're taking these courses and you find them extremely simple, because they are, I'm going to tell you now, when you come here, our courses are not simple. They're just not. So while you're taking these courses, you need to start to become an adult learner, and you need to start to be able to teach yourself the why. Because if you don't understand the why, when you get down to our stems on our questions, you're going to see an age, where they're at, vital signs, past medical history. You're going to see presenting signs and symptoms that may align up with some sort of etiology or some sort of like a disease process. And then at the very end, all this information is and I can write probably 7 different questions at the very end about that patient, like treatment, presenting sign, disposition, who do they go to, like who do we consult with. So if you're not able to transform from a person that just reads and memorizes, you're going to have a hard time here. And those flashcards that you try to write down, good luck. You're going to do that for about a couple of classes, and your hand's going to cramp up, and you're not going to have time. And by the time you wrote them out, the test is in front of your face, and you didn't learn the why. And I can tell you right now, from the person that literally was about to fail out of PA school in the first semester, because again, like Lieutenant Dorsey, I was an IDC, and I sat in IDC class like this, and I sat there for a year and just took it all in. Aced, well, I did really well in IDC school. I did come here very cocky. I was like, oh, I'm going to go there and kick it. Man, I got 5 NECs. Man, this is going to be so simple. And then I thought I could just read it, like passively read over, and it would just stick. But I can tell you now, you go back, you look at, can you explain the humoral immune system? Can you tell me step by step about inflammation and the tail end of all that? If you cannot start learning why things work, like I say, hey, so a car runs on gasoline. That is correct, but that doesn't tell me how. So we talk about fuel pumps, we talk about ignition, we talk about pressure, we talk about expulsion, we talk about gear ratio. That's how you really need to approach every single physiological aspect within the body, because I'm going to ask you here soon to be a couple of things. I'm going to ask you to be a chemist, right? So every medication that we prescribe changes, alters, stops, speeds up, or does something with chemistry within the body. Other than that, we wouldn't use it. Two, I'm going to ask you to be somewhat of a pseudo surgeon. I'm going to need you to cut people open and remove things, and sometimes help them out. I'm also going to need you to be a body mechanic. Then I'm also going to ask you to be a leader. I'm going to ask you to be a provider, and everything else. So learn the why, because that's what you're going to get smacked with here hard.
Perfect. Thank you, LT. Lieutenant Dorsey, any closing words or anything to add what Lieutenant Ham said?
Yeah, I would say also, especially in like bachelor's degree level classes, a lot of those, the test will ask you first order questions like, what is the capital of South Carolina? That's a first order question. It's very clear what they're asking. In this master's level program, these are third order questions. So it's not going to be kind of this rote memorization where you can learn X is Y, like Lieutenant Ham said. So as you're preparing for it, if you're not familiar with third order questions or second order questions, then you should take a look at that and make sure you understand, because that will be the thing that at your first test, you think that you're ready for it because you've studied for it the way you've studied for everything. And you get to that first question and you're like, wait, what? This is not the bolded word that I studied. So it is a very different, Lieutenant Ham kept saying that, adult learning. It's very different from other types of learning you may be used to.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for those comments and everything. And if there are any aspiring PAs in the group, how can they reach you both? Lieutenant Ham, are you guys open to direct message? I'm just looking at the comments here on the side.
Yeah.
How can they reach you?
Yeah, so I would say to anyone who wants to be a PA, the Naval Association for PAs, the NAPA, is probably one of the easiest ways to connect with PAs. If you are a prospective PA or a student PA, you can join NAPA for free. So there's no cost for you to be a member. And that will allow you into the NAPA directory where you can look, you can read other PAs' bios and see where they've been stationed, where they're currently stationed, their contact information. You can reach out to them that way. There's a NAPA, the Navy Association of PAs, Facebook page, and there's an Instagram. You can always email me or find me on Facebook, or through just send me a message through the MSC site. I'm not in global because I'm on a ship, so it's my first name, Leslie.Dorsey@cvn74.navy.mil. But yeah, you can email me if you just need help trying to get connected with a PA where you're stationed at. I can help you do that. But the best resource and the way you can make a lot of connections is through the Naval Association of PAs, the NAPA.
Awesome. Thank you, LT, for sharing your info. Lieutenant Ham?
Yeah, I would have you guys just email me out, and I could just tell you I could tell you why this email address is the way it is. So my why to come to PA school, or how about this? My physical goal to finish PA school, because there was plenty of times where I was like, I just didn't want to do anything. This was back in 2010. Nissan put out this really cool car in 2009. It's a Nissan GTR. I said, that's what I'm going to get. So I made my email address jham, like right here, gtr@gmail.com. So if you have questions or need to reach out, I would suggest you email jhamgtr@gmail.com. And it was always on my desk. And anytime I didn't, like I had a couple of them, one at school and one at home. And when I didn't want to do something, I was like, well, What'd you come to PA school for? To drive a RAV4? Wrong. I was going to get the GTR, and I still don't have it.
Thank you so much.
I was gonna get a Jeep Wrangler and I still don't have it. The 4-door Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Yeah, still don't.
Yeah. Now my GTR is sitting in my backyard. It's in my pool.
I love the background of that Gmail, but thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time. I know you both are busy individuals with your both current duty stations, but I'm pretty sure everybody appreciated it as well. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you so much. And in the near future, we'll probably have more episodes like this. So I'm pretty sure we're going to invite you back. So thank you so much, LTs. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for putting this on. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
we really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful host. Thank you.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you. All right, guys. So you've heard from our two wonderful LTs, both physician assistants. So hopefully you've learned a lot of good information on here. As always, this is going to be uploaded into our YouTube video. It's also going to be archived in our MSC IPP videos topic on this specific group on here. For those questions that we weren't able to get through, I'm pretty sure both of these individuals are going to be able to answer them as well. Thank you so much. And just as a friendly reminder, it is already March. It's the third month of 2021. So if you are doing your package, make sure that your drafts are already squared away at this point. You should be done with your physicals, right? You should be ordering your transcript at this point, and you should have a draft to your prospective mentor already, or if you have a current mentor, you should already have that on their emails ready to be reviewed. Do not wait until the last minute. I have about like 3 that I'm mentoring right now, and I tell them, hey, it's March 3rd. Where is it? Okay. So that's just a friendly reminder. September 1st or whatever the new deadline is per the new nav admin is going to come really, really quick. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week, we are now signing off. Thank you. Have a good night, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you're at. Thanks.